Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Boomer Bust Podcast. I'm Shoot the Rock, and I'm here with my boy Matt for the April 26th show. Matt, how are we doing today?
Oh, we're doing great. It's what is it, Tuesday? It's Tuesday. Wow, we're not even that far into the week yet. But you know what? Playoffs are here in two sports, so we can't complain. And it's been a good weekend this past weekend. Got to see some family and stuff. So played in a men's basketball league last night. So you know what? It was a good start to the week. How about you, Derek? How's your week going?
So far, so good. Like you said, yeah, great time for sports. Was catching up with some old buddies this past weekend, so didn't get to see every game, but I've been listening to different shows, watching highlights and stuff, so I'm pretty much up to date. And so yeah, so I apologize. It's been a little bit since our last episode, guys, but we're gonna here today kind of go through each series, kind of what's gone on so far through the first four. Some game fives are starting tonight, and I think some of those series might end as well tonight in game five. And then the end, talk a little NBA, NHL, MLB. There's a big trade in football that we'll get to. So yeah, all over the sports landscape this week, especially with the draft coming up this weekend as well. So
Oh my God, yeah, there's a lot going on.
all sorts of stuff going on. Let's get right into it. So first we gotta start with probably the biggest surprise so far of the playoffs. The Miami Heat are now up 3-1 on the number one seed Milwaukee Bucks after Jimmy Butler's 56-point game last night. The most points for a single game in Miami Heat franchise history. I think it's like top 5 all time for playoff points.
It's top 4.
Top
tied.
4.
Well, it's tied. It is tied.
Tied for
with
fourth.
Somebody
Okay.
else, but yes.
And I know the Heat are now the, again, 4th or 5th. I get all these numbers confused. Team 8 seed to have the 1 seed down 3-1.
Yep.
So Matt, this got to, like I said, by far most surprising series. I think I picked, let me pull it up here, but I know I picked the Bucks in probably 5. Yeah, I had the Bucks in 5. You did warn me about the Heat, but you also too had the Bucks in 6. What have been your
Yes.
takeaways from this so far?
Yeah, obviously with missing Giannis for those couple games going into this game, he only played 11 minutes so far in these playoffs. Those were big, but we saw the Bucks in Game 2 shoot the lights out of the Heat. They shot them right out of that gym in that high-scoring affair of, I think it was 138 to like 122 or something like that.
Yeah.
With Giannis off the floor, the Bucks this is a trend you could look it up too. The Bucks just shoot better when Giannis is off the floor. I don't know if that's just, they take more shots. There's more availability for threes rather than Giannis just having the ball, run and dunk man himself. But I don't know, dude. The Heat, without Tyler Hero too, they are finding a way to win these games, but it is massively because of Jimmy Butler himself. Outside of this 56-game performance, you take this away, he's still top 5 in points in the playoffs this year. He's just been doing everything to lead this Miami Heat team to try and beat this Bucks team and get over that hump that they've been trying to do for since the bubble. So yeah, it's been a fun series to watch, to say the least. But Jimmy needs some help out there. Bam is not what I thought Bam was going to be as he evolved, and especially in these playoff runs. But yeah, the Heat are hanging with the Bucks, and they're up 3-1. It's hard. We've only seen it 13 times in NBA history, so it's kind of scary knowing that the Heat have a 3-1 lead and they get at least one more game at home. So
they'll be at home for Game 6. Game 5 and potentially 7 will be in Milwaukee.
Yep. So if Milwaukee wants to win this series, they got to go to 7 and beat Miami in Miami. And we heard Jimmy last night. This is my city. He owns Miami, and I don't know. It's a great series, and I kind of want to see the Heat close it out as much as everyone wants to see the Bucks, powerhouse team make it. But it's been a fun series to watch. How about you? What do you think? What's your take?
Yeah, so Giannis goes down Game 1. They lose. That's understandable. But yeah, Game 2, they rally. Home team's not going to lose both games on their home floor, the higher seed. But Game 3, man, yeah, the shooters, at least just from what I was watching, like I said, was in Wisconsin this past weekend, so I watched the majority of that game. They weren't hitting their shots without Giannis. They definitely rely a lot more on the three ball and taking jump shots when Giannis isn't there. And the Heat were hitting the game. They were having guys like Duncan Robinson's been hitting some big shots.
Yeah, he's finally getting minutes again.
Yeah, he's getting minutes again, hitting some shots. Kevin Love been playing well. Kind of random guys. Because like you said, hasn't been Bam. Has kind of
no.
He got really hyped up that 2020 bubble season. Like, he'll have his moments, but yeah, he's just not consistent enough. But I really thought, last night, okay, Giannis is back. For a while there, they looked pretty good. I was like, all right, 2-2 series, maybe 7. But I'm like, if the Bucks won last night, I think for sure they win in 6.
6, yeah.
6, maybe 7. But I think like the Bucks, take back the momentum. But Miami, man, Jimmy just put that team on his back. That fourth quarter was insane.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I mean, as a recent game, the lower seed or the higher seed has put up a bit more of a fight coming back. And like I said, they do have 2 home games, but I would probably like the Heat in 6. I think Milwaukee does rebound. They win on Wednesday, but I don't. Miami's shown it. They're gonna be tough to beat at home, so I'd probably lean the Heat in 6. How about you?
I think I lean the Heat in 6. However, I do think this Game 5 is going to be a state game from Milwaukee. I could see them coming out here and wiping the floor with a 15, 20, 25-point victory in Game 5. So does that lead to Game 6, be more of a momentum in Milwaukee's favor, trying to beat Miami in Miami to push 7? I could see it, but either or, I'm taking Miami in 6 or Miami in 7.
Alrighty.
Either or.
So look at us, both flipping the script here. So I'll give, like I said, I'll give credit to you. In the preview episode, you did warn me about Miami. I kind of brushed them aside, but
it's that feud that these players have had against each other for 2-3 years now. So that was definitely some of it. Obviously, I think all of us, deep down Chicago fans wanted to see the Bulls in, but this series is a lot more entertaining with Miami. So
yeah, I'd agree.
Let's talk. I want to talk about Kyle Lowry real quick too.
Go for it.
He's been playing phenomenal defense this series. Phenomenal. Like, I knew Kyle Lowry was a good defender back in Toronto. He was really good when guarding Kyrie and that. But obviously, you can only shut down great players so much. You can only limit them to so much. But he's been playing really good defense at the end of these late games. He had 2 steals in crunch time last night that were just amazing when he passed it to Jimmy, and then Jimmy just hung on the rim for like 2 or 3 seconds. That was electric. So, yeah, I just want to give some love to Kyle Lowry because a lot of people have been writing him off the last couple years of his career. But, he's a veteran who makes different plays that make a different outcome in the game. So I just want to shout out Kyle Lowry real quick.
Yeah, no, like I was saying, different guys stepping up. That was definitely guys should have thrown out there. Yeah, I mean, Game 3, holding the Heat to under 100, or the Bucks to under 100 points. Like, you just do not see that very often nowadays.
No.
Especially with a team that's as offensively prolific as them. So moving on here to the next series. This is one, like I said, Game 5 tonight, and probably going to end tonight. The Celtics lead the Hawks 3-1. They're currently minus 20,000 on Caesar
That's
Sportsbook
crazy.
to win
That's
the
crazy.
series. The ESPN BPI has been a 99% chance. I mean, I'll give the Hawks credit. They did make Game 2 competitive in Boston after getting absolutely blown out Game 1. And then they take Game 3 at home, but Boston battles back on Sunday, steals Game 4 in Atlanta. Now they come home tonight with a chance to wrap up the series. I mean, I think this one ends in 5. You got any other different takeaway on it? What are you thinking, Matt?
No, yeah, I see it ending in 5 as well. I wish DeJounte Murray didn't make a dumb decision at the end of the game, but you know what? That got him suspended, and that's what happens nowadays in the soft league of the NBA. It is the right decision. You can't approach a ref like that. But yeah, if he played, I could have seen this series going 6. Atlanta's they've been looking all right. They look like they can, to a degree, hang with Boston. Maybe not all 4 quarters, but no DeJounte. Give me Boston in 5.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't do that. Like, that's just very
Yeah.
stupid. Like, I understand the frustration. That's a big game you lose. Now you're down 3-1, but you put your team in an even bigger hole. So, it's just like bonehead stuff like that. I mean, this Hawks team, like I kind of mentioned in the preview, they a couple years, 21, they go to the conference finals. They take that Game 1 from Milwaukee. Like, looks like it could be a series. And, man, just like ever since, hasn't really panned out. Like, honestly, I forget when his contract's up, but I feel like Trae Young might be that next big NBA star that's on the move.
I could see it. I could easily see it.
All right, so moving on. Yeah, not a whole lot to touch on there. I mean, pretty dominant series for the Celtics. Another one, very dominant, but it was a little controversial. He had some controversy. Nothing as big as the Jared Dudley fight that I mentioned in the preview episode. But the Sixers sweep the Nets, winning Game 4 on Saturday afternoon to wrap up the series. mean, game 3 was scrappy. We got the Claxton step over. Embiid, I guess, missed his spot, so he got to stay in the game. But later, Harden hit his mark, so he got thrown out. And then, I didn't catch a whole lot of the game Saturday. But, I mean, Sixers were just a better team. The Nets, I mean, I give them credit, like we were kind of talking about a little bit, lose all those guys. Crazy season for them. We can touch on that. But what do you have?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody knew that if there was one series that should at least definitely be a sweep, I think every NBA fan could agree it'd be the Sixers over the Nets. The Nets just don't have that one superstar to go to, while Mikal Bridges is developing into an absolute all-star, I would argue. They don't really have that one guy to go to when it matters most, which is much needed in the NBA playoffs. So the Sixers kind of just walked all over them. There were a couple of the games were a little close going into the fourth quarter, but I think everyone knew that, the Sixers were the more dominant team. They were the more well-rounded team, and they'd come out winning this series in 4 max gentleman sweep. No Embiid for that game 4. A little banged up. I have no problem with that. Give the guy more rest because that guy's always injured when it matters most. So more rest for him. Can't hurt the team, and they got the dub without him. So Tobias played really good in that game 4, which I think as me rooting for the Sixers because of my Harden fan, not a Sixers fan, it's good to see Tobias stepping up because everyone's always been waiting. I mean, if we go back to that bubble year when Jimmy went off and made it to the finals, and he's walking out of that locker room saying, "Y'all took Tobias over me?" So, Tobias definitely needs to step up in these games, and he showed it on game 4. So, yeah, not much to dabble on that series. Brooklyn, great season for what hand they were given, to be honest. So they got a lot of young stars, like we talked about last episode, that has potential to grow with Cam McCall, got Cam Thomas off the bench.
Thomas,
You got some good.
Had those 40-point games for that week there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to, unless you have anything else, I was listening to No Dunks the other day, the NBA show. That they used to be the starters on NBA TV, for people who know. And they were just kind of like going through this, like, so the season starts, Kevin Durant requests that trade in the offseason, never gets granted. They're like, all right, that's fine, whatever. He eventually agrees to play. Then you have all this stuff with Kyrie sharing the documentary on Amazon, resulting in him getting suspended. Finally looks like, okay, like he comes back, everything seems fine. And then, you get his trade request. Kevin Durant goes right after. I mean, like we said, crazy week from, like, Cam Thomas where he goes off there.
Yeah.
So, like, they do have potential. And then another funny thing they mentioned on the show, I don't know how much validity there could be to this. Damian Lillard was apparently at game 4 on Saturday. What would you think of, like, Damian Lillard? Maybe, somehow, it would obviously require more, but trade up Ben Simmons for a Damian Lillard and, like, figure, like, what would you think about that?
So I'm not even going to touch on the Portland side. I think that would be absolutely moronic for Portland, as everyone knows with what Ben Simmons is capable of now. He's a great bench energy guy. That's about all you're getting out of him. But no, I will just talk strictly Brooklyn. I would like that. However, I do still think Dame needs one more piece because, I mean, you look at it, CJ was that piece for a little bit. Then you look at they had Jeremy Grant. I wouldn't say he was that second guy, but CJ McCollum was that second guy for years, and then Nurkic was that 5. Now who would they have? McCall and Claxton. I mean, not a huge upgrade, so I don't think that helps Damian Lillard necessarily get over that hump. However, I do think they'd be a playoff team in the East for sure if you put Dame on that team. I just think he needs a little more help, maybe another power forward on that roster or something. But I would love to see him go to Brooklyn. I'd love to see Dame leave. I mean, I think everyone knows that's the one superstar that's kind of been held captive over the course of his career. So everyone wants to see him kind of get out there and compete in these playoffs, and Portland isn't going to do that. So I didn't actually know he was at that game 4. That's kind of cool. So, hey, I would like to see him be a Brooklyn Net.
I would like it, but just my thing, I don't know why I keep drawing. Maybe it's just the fact that team also played the Sixers, but the season before the Nets got KD and Kyrie, they played the Sixers in the first round, and they had guys like D'Lo, Jared Allen, young guys that like seemed like they were starting to kind of put something together. Yep. They blew that up and tried to speed up the process, and look how it's turned out for them. They're right back in the same spot.
Yep.
And it's something they really shouldn't do again. I mean, it already happened to them when they traded for washed Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, and look at the spot the Celtics are in now with all those picks. So while it would be cool, I'm not unless it's like Ben Simmons and some draft picks and maybe one of the young guys. I think about it, but yeah, it's something where it's like I think the Nets, I get it, big market, trying to compete with the Knicks, but I think for once they just need to stand pat and like.
That's true. Just build off the foundation that they have. Yeah.
Have some sense of stability in that organization because there has not been in the past 5 years.
No. 10 years probably.
Yeah, honestly, if you want to, yeah. So, and then moving on to the final series here in the East. Another one. I mean, we got to show Mitchell Robinson some love. We didn't even like mention him. We're like, oh no, Julius Randle, the Knicks are probably done. I mean, because I did have Cleveland in 7, more just kind of out of like some hope that like I'm like I want this to be a good series. But you had the Cavs in 5. Right now the Cavs are on their way to getting bing bonged and going down in 5. I mean, 99-79 as the final score of an NBA playoff game. What is this? The 90s?
Yeah, I don't know. It's the Cavs. If I could go, the Cavs. I think this is a bad excuse to rely on now, me saying this, but the Cavs are just too inexperienced right now. Outside of Spider, I mean, this is Garland's first playoff series, Evan Mobley's. Like, these guys are just, they're not, when it matters most, they're not what they were in the regular season. And that's what the playoffs are. You got to step up or at least be what you were in the regular season. And they're kind of underperforming. Jared Allen is getting barbecue chicken alert down there by Mitchell Robinson. Oh, my God. Jared Allen was like top 5, top 6 in rebounds this year. Rebound leader. And Mitchell Robinson is having a field day with that man, dude. You're right. We did not talk about Mitchell Robinson enough. He deserves his flowers because he is playing amazing this series. And then Jalen Brunson. Oh my God, Dallas Mavericks. Why'd you let him go? I mean, I'm happy he's gone because he was getting overshadowed by Luka. But oh my God, Jalen Brunson is a floor general. This guy is a hooper. Like, give that man his flowers. He's been the best player in this series. Well, you got Donovan Mitchell and Julius Randle on the floor, so that says a lot. But I still think the Cavs could get this done in 7. I do believe. I think it's more of a bias. You know, I love me some Spider, Donovan Mitchell, so that could be part of it. But, yeah, I don't know. I'd love to see it go 7 because I think it's been kind of a tough series for the Cavs in terms of points. They can't put the ball in net, so that's a problem. But I think the Knicks win it in 6, but I want it to go 7.
Yeah. Jalen Brunson, man. Okay, it was obviously a bit of an overreaction. Charles Barkley's like, I might be the greatest offseason signing in NBA history. I was like, all right, let's slow roll a little bit. That's Chuck for you, but he's been huge. I mean, I've seen him play since high school. My one buddy's dad was his high school coach, so I've been very lucky to see him. And I mean, I knew he could play. He was he was on the Villanova championship team as a freshman, didn't really play a whole lot, and then kind of was like the guy his junior year. And I mean, had a nice little role there in Dallas, but I mean, yeah, his blossom last year and now what he's doing for the Knicks, like, it's kind of eating Spider's lunch. Like, he's been the best player in the series when like all along we were kind of thinking, it's gonna be Donovan Mitchell. Like, no, it's been Brunson. I mean, Mitchell has been to the playoffs every year, but I can't really remember, like, does he have, like, really a big, like, obviously that series against Denver in the bubble was, like, back and forth, great series. He comes on the losing end, but I just, like, don't really remember, like, a great series from him that's, like, led his team deep in the playoffs. And I think we're kind of, like you're touching on, like, these other guys don't really have experience. They might need another piece before they're really going to make a deep run.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. I mean, yeah, outside of that Denver series with back in the bubble, when Donovan put up like I think he averaged 36 in that series in those 6 games, putting up 51, 57 in the one game, 44. But yeah, I mean, since then, he's been a little lackluster, and I don't know if that's so much of if you look back in those Utah days, who else was scoring for them? I mean, they had Mike Conley, he's a floor general. They had Joe Ingles and Rudy Gobert, Royce O'Neal. Like, now with other guys who can put ball in net for them, I feel like he's kind of taken away from his shots and he's deferring a lot more, which I don't like because he's like just a tough scorer. So, yeah, I don't know. Donovan's definitely been getting outplayed this series, and if the Cavs want to compete, he needs to step it up in my eyes for sure. So does Darius Garland, though. But
yeah, I mean, I agree. Those are good takes. Yeah, it's like I said, the Knicks kind of surprise us. You know, they're kind of also just like one of those franchises that you're not really gonna have a ton of faith in them until they do it. This would be their first series win in a decade, but I'd love to see it. And I think those videos, especially if it would end Game 6 Friday in New York, they would be crazy. They'd be a lot of fun. So moving on here to the Western Conference, another series that probably should end tonight with its Game 5 being tonight. The Nuggets lead the Timberwolves. They almost had the sweep on Sunday night, but Nikola Jokic, very gentlemanly of him, missed a free throw. Game went to overtime. T-Wolves taking an overtime. But, yeah, they're another one. Minus 10,000 to win the series and 99% on the ESPN BPI. What do you got on this one? We can go pretty quick with this one.
Yeah, this one, it's nothing crazy. Nuggets have looked better on all facets, except free throw shooting. Ant Edwards has been playing a lot better than he did in Game 1 and 2. I think it was Game 1 and 2 that he started out lackluster. But yeah, he's been playing a lot better, but it's still not enough to beat this Denver team. They're too lethal around, and then you let Jokic do Joker-like things. So I'll take the Nuggets in 5 again. That's what I'm going to ride with.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a sweep, but I guess it's gentlemen, so.
Let's see here. Yeah, I had Denver in 5. You had them in 4. Yeah, I mean, Nikola Jokic, I don't think they just don't have an answer for him. No. So he's showing why he's an MVP candidate, back-to-back MVP. I mean, I'll give Ant Edwards, his flowers. Like you've been saying, he's been playing well, and he had a really good game 4 to stop it from being a sweep. But he's, I think, a guy that's gonna be fun to watch in the future in the playoffs. I think I could see some big series from him, but I think just now, he's too young and just doesn't really have other weapons around him that can get it done. So
I agree.
Moving on, big win last night. Vintage LeBron James had to rep the shirt this morning. The Lakers are up 3-1 on the Memphis Grizzlies. We've had all the Dillon Brooks antics. Honestly, I don't want to be biased, so I'm just going to let you take the lead on this series. Where do we want to go with this one?
The Lakers winning in 5. Oh, my God. Why did Dillon Brooks open his mouth? Why? Like, it could have been a great series. I think Memphis could have pushed 7 until he opened his mouth. You woke up the beast, and that's just a dumb thing to do. You better get cut next year and never play a game again for Memphis. Yeah, outside of that flagrant 2, though, I want to touch on that real quick in that Game 3. That was a bad call. On LeBron. He definitely reached and touched him in an inappropriate, not the right area. But, I mean, it was a basketball play. Flagrant 2 getting ejected, in my eyes, that was a little uncalled for. But, I mean, that's what's just going to happen when it's against LeBron James. So, but Lakers have looked great. Austin Reeves, talk about a clutch motherfucker. That guy has been amazing in the fourth quarter for them. I think he has 28 of their fourth quarter points in these playoffs, which leads the Lakers. He's been great. AD's looked a lot better than he did in that Game 3. Or was it Game 2 when Xavier Tillman was just
Game 2.
all over Game 2? Xavier Tillman was just all over him. But yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. Lakers in 5. LeBron's in year 20, still in his prime, I guess. I don't know how, but this guy, whatever he's taking, I need it because I already feel old, and he's at least 15 years older than me. So, Lakers in 5, it's gentleman sweep. They Grizz can't do it.
This is almost like a conversation I feel like I'd be having a decade ago. It's like the Lance Stevenson, the antics. As much as I love them, and back then I couldn't stand LeBron. I couldn't stand the Heat. Being from Chicago, it was come on, let's get it done. I was get in his grill, let's mess with him. You can't do that. I mean, Game 3, they just pedal the metal, pounded them.
Yeah.
And then, just last night, I mean, the clutch layup at the end there, oh my gosh, it would have been insane if there was enough time after 80's block where his three-quarter court shot would have counted. He was hooping in overtime. So, yeah, I mean, I went Lakers in 5 at the beginning as a biased Lakers fan, being I think Memphis is going to be rattled. Lakers are going to take both. And Game 5 series will be over. I mean, Memphis squeaks that one out last night. They almost did. I kind of would be a little hesitant. I would have kind of thought, all right, they take the momentum back. And I might have even switched my pick to Memphis in 7. But yeah, now, big win for the Lakers. I think that could be kind of deflating for the Grizzlies. Just to kind of touch on the Dillon Brooks stuff, I guess I agree with you. I think it's soft. But I think we're kind of seeing the NBA setting a precedent here. You hit a guy in the dick, you're getting thrown out of the game. I mean, we saw with James Harden. Really, I'm kind of surprised Embiid wasn't thrown out.
Oh yeah, I was surprised Embiid was thrown out over Harden, or wasn't thrown out over Harden. But
I think that even was almost just a bit of a makeup call with Harden. But yeah, I think that's kind of what we're seeing now. The precedent they're kind of going to set. And yeah, I just can't stand Dillon Brooks trying to be oh, why are you guys paying me as villain? Bro,
Yeah,
you're
oh,
kicking
that
people in
was
the
so
dick, you're
soft.
running your mouth.
Yeah.
Like, that's
That
going
was
to
so
happen.
soft
You
of
can't,
him
like,
to
you
say
can't play
that.
both sides. I'm all
Yeah.
for, you know, if he, as much as you hate him, but sometimes you need that guy on your team to get your guys riled up. But yeah, you can't play both sides. You got to then be all in, like a Pat Bev or a Lance Stevenson, where they're like,
you gotta
I'm that guy.
accept that you're the villain in a sense. Don't say, "Oh my God, media, I'm the villain. Why are you painting me this?" Because of everything you've done.
Yes, you're an instigator. I mean, they saw LeBron talking to him before game 3, like, and he's like still just kind of like blowing him off, like, oh, like I'm like, all right, that's fine, but then you're gonna be the villain. So
exactly,
I don't know what bro's thinking. So, but yeah, I agree. I'd say Lakers now after winning last night and 5-6 max back in LA. Okay, then. So next series, switching to the other side of LA. I mean, that was crazy. Did you see on Saturday that they both had a home game, flipping the court?
Yeah,
that was crazy.
I saw like the transition on like an Instagram reel or something, like how they transition it so fast. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen those videos before, but yeah, I've never seen two teams like both have a home game on the same day. Plus, yeah, you throw in the Kings there with the NHL playoffs. So, yeah, that was a crazy weekend for the Staples Center staff.
Oh, yeah.
Now Crypto.com arena, my bad. But, yes, Clippers find themselves trailing 3-1 to the Suns. They're losing both games over the weekend. I mean, that was a big win for them, game 1. And I was kind of thinking it could be a competitive series. But now, goes back to Phoenix. 3-1, Suns lead. No Kawhi. Minus 20,000 for the Suns to win the series. Only an 87% chance on the ESPN BPI, though. So ESPN still thinks the Clippers have a bit of a chance. What about you?
No, it's dead in the water. No shot. Russ is the only life on that Clippers team, it seems like, right now. And, yeah, I'm going to die on the hill that Stephen A. died on Friday night, saying on First Take, Kawhi Leonard might be the most overrated superstar in the NBA. Not overrated from what he can put on the floor, what his game is. Just overrated in a player of his caliber and what you're paying him on a night-to-night basis. This guy can't stay healthy, man. It's one thing after another with him. He sits out 40 games in the regular season every year, it seems like. He's got to be the most well-rested superstar in the league, behind maybe Joel Embiid would be the only one I'd argue second. And he still finds a way to every playoff series get banged up and injured. It's not, you can't blame that on a guy, so it's not so much I'm saying overrated because, he doesn't take care of himself, this, and this. He just, every series, he's always injured, and it's so annoying to see because this would have been such a great series. Even if it was no Paul George, if it was just a healthy Kawhi, I could have seen this series going 6-7. No Kawhi, though, and it's just, Russ is trying to do everything. I don't think the Clippers have a chance. Give me the Suns in 5.
Yeah. See, when it comes to, like, health, I just have, like, a hard time, like, criticizing a player because some of that is out of their control. But, I mean, the best ability is availability. And you're right. That's not a thing for him.
No.
Again, another guy in a losing series I'm going to give flowers to, Russell Westbrook. I felt horrible for him as a Laker fan. I thought he was kind of the scapegoat that fans just kind of used. I mean, to a sense, yes, his play was not great. And now we're seeing, they trade him. And, I got to give him credit. Those deadline moves ended up being very beneficial for the team, a lot more than I thought they were going to be.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, man, he just plays so hard. And it's a series where, if they have a Kawhi or a Paul George and, they could make it a series, I'd love to see that. Especially because I love seeing Russell Westbrook beat Kevin Durant.
Yes.
But
literally same.
Durant's been hooping. I mean, Chris Paul's actually been playing pretty well. I mean, and then you got Booker. I mean, it's a really solid squad. They're playing up to their capabilities right now, and I'm really excited to see that series between them and Denver. I think those are going to be kind of the pseudo Western Conference Finals.
Yes.
I think those are the two best teams. And then just another reason, because going over this next series here, the one we were split on has been a battle. Golden State squeaks out Game 4, evens the series at 2, heading back to Sacramento. Actually, so right now, despite the Kings having 2 home games of the final 3, the Warriors are minus 300 and have a 51% chance to win the series, according to ESPN. Are you still riding with Light the Beam, Matt, or what are we thinking?
I think it all depends on Game 5. Is that tonight? Would that be tonight?
Wednesday. So they got an extra day of rest, which I like. So
that's good.
Based on when the episode comes out, it could be tonight. But yes, it'll be Wednesday. We're recording on Tuesday.
Okay, Wednesday night. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on De'Aaron Fox's availability. He's got a fractured finger in the late fourth quarter of that game. He's listed as doubtful for Game 5, which I don't like to see. No D Fox, Warriors in 6. With D Fox, I still think there's a chance we can light that beam. It depends what D Fox we get. Are we getting a healthy D Fox or a guy that's going to play 25 minutes and take about 8 to 10 shots a game? It really lies on him. As we've seen, he's been the clutch player in this series and throughout this whole season, hitting big shot after big shot when it matters most. Got doubled. I do think it was the right decision to pass it to Harrison Barnes in that Game 4. I think everyone would want to have seen D Fox take that shot, but I mean, I think if he knew he had 2 guys on him and he has a fractured finger, he might not have known that in the hindsight. But kicking to Harrison Barnes, it was a good look. I mean, if anyone wanted to make that shot more than D Fox, it was Harrison Barnes. So against his old team. So that would have swayed a lot of my momentum here if it was a 3-1 series rather than tied up 2-2. But if D Fox is healthy, I still think there's a chance that beam gets lit. But if not, Warriors in 6. It's been a great series though, so I hope he's healthy because it's been a battle with the Draymond and Sabonis beef, with Curry going off, D Fox going off. Role players, Malik Monk's been going crazy. So it's been a great series. I think it's been my favorite series to watch so far. But D Fox being questionable or doubtful is hurts that for Sacramento a little bit. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely lived up to the hype. I mean, what happened? The Beam team, that was your underdog. I think I might be higher on the Kings right now than you are. Yeah, the Kings could have very easily won that game. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I agree. I think it comes down to Game 5. If the Kings win Game 5, I don't see the Warriors winning a Game 7 in Sacramento. I don't see it happening. I mean, Curry almost gave that game away. I think guys get old and it kind of comes to end of runs. I think we're starting to see that for Golden State. It was obviously a great story last year, seeing them, get back to the top, especially without KD. Yeah, I mean, that whole Draymond thing was crazy. I guess, we never talked about that. That's another guy, Did you think he should have been suspended or no?
I don't know. I think, yes, I can agree they were baiting him that other game when Sabonis dragged him to the ground. But at the same time, he put all his body weight on Sabonis. So necessarily Sabonis kind of couldn't get him off. So it's just been a lot of interior beef. I don't think he should have been suspended. I think like a technical and getting kicked out of the game necessarily would have been all right and call it a day there and a fine. But the suspension for that Game 3 was a little much in my eyes, considering Sabonis did kind of grab him, but let's not act like that step wasn't an aggressive step on the chest. So, but I mean, that's Draymond. That's what you're going to get from Draymond. The things I would do to see a Patrick Beverley, Dylan Brooks, Draymond Green team, oh my God, it'd be amazing. That'd be the best basketball we'd ever seen.
The Black Air Force One expansion team. We'll have to do a sim in 2K or something with that.
Just get Lance Stevenson back, and then I don't know who their center would be. I mean, take Sabonis probably. I don't know. So yeah.
Give me like a
who would be the
shoot. Maybe like a Joakim Noah or someone. I don't know.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so I don't think he necessarily should have been suspended, but a fine and maybe getting ejected from the game I think would have been a good spot to draw the line. So how about you?
The reason I think that he got suspended and why I was okay with it was the crowd antics after he got thrown out. He knows exactly what he's doing. But to be honest, I'm not really sure the suspension was a bad thing. It kind of rallied Golden State a little bit.
Golden State, yep.
So I don't really think necessarily it was this horrible. It wasn't like 2016 finals where he gets suspended for Game 5 and that turns the face of the series a little bit.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I mean, this has been my favorite series by far. I was listening to the end of that game on the radio. Even just listening on the radio, I was like, holy crap, this
electric.
is an insane game.
Yeah.
It's electric. So, yeah, I hope it goes 7 because there's been beef. It's been competitive. It's been good game. Definitely been the best games by far. I mean, look, the biggest Game 3 was the only game that's really been a blowout. Every other game's been close, and either team could have very easily won. So, really enjoyed to watch it so far.
I want to spark one last NBA question before we move on from the Basketball Association. Give me your top 3 so far in this playoff performers. It doesn't have to be order, but it can be. But top 3, who's been performing the best this playoffs?
See, this is tough because I've missed some of these games.
It's
just what I've seen from LeBron, you have to still go LeBron. Jimmy Butler. The Heat aren't up 3-1 without Jimmy Butler. And then, would it be Brunson? It'd probably either be Brunson or Fox. How about you?
Yeah, that's not a bad 3. I'm gonna stay away from LeBron. Obviously, everyone knows he's the GOAT when the playoffs matter.
Yeah, it was
so,
kind of
you
a
know what?
cop-out answer.
No, you're not wrong though. I mean, he's been playing phenomenal. But I'm gonna go no order: Brunson, Fox, and Jimmy Butler for sure.
Okay, so
They've
around
been
the same
doing enough.
wavelength.
Yep, Fox has been so close to being it could be a 3-1 series. Brunson's up 3-1 and Jimmy's up 3-1. So these guys are doing enough to win these games when they matter. So,